Okay, one of the real interesting matchup things that's going to be going on in this game is Jalen Carter and this great Philadelphia Eagles defensive line going up against this Chiefs offensive line that seemingly has just always been an issue in the Patrick Mahomes era, and it never matters. But, I mean, it matters, right? Obviously, against Tampa Bay, it really mattered, and even in some of the other Super Bowls they played in, it's been a disadvantage that they've been able to overcome. I think it might have to be that again. It might have to be another disadvantage that the Chiefs have to overcome, but I do also think that there are ways that they can get around this and maybe not have the worst thing in the world happen. So first, let's talk about Joe Thuney. You see, he's going to be the left tackle right here. The way the Chiefs are constructed is usually they have an elite interior with their guards and center, and then just passable tackles. Jawaan Taylor has been a passable right tackle for them. Left tackle hasn't even been passable. So what they did was they moved Thuney over to left tackle. Now there's a backup guard in, but you see Thuney, who kind of struggled his first few games, I thought, or at least I wouldn't say struggled, but like wasn't spectacular at tackle the way he is at guard in his first few games. But as you see here, I mean, he just completely wins this rep. He didn't give up a pressure against Buffalo. So he's gone from, I mean, maybe that's just one game, but I mean, that's a really impressive performance. And if you're going to get good tackle play in this situation, that changes things. That means that you have maybe to get pressure up the middle, which is not something Mahomes is used to having to deal with. You can try to get pressure off the edge on the right tackle. If you know Thuney's doing well, you can try to say, okay, let's try and pressure John. I keep trying to call him Jonathan Taylor, Jawaan Taylor, the right tackle. But again, you can kind of scheme around that, like the Chiefs are going to do here, where it's in theory a one-on-one matchup, but you also have the halfback who's going to kind of chip the edge rusher, just help take him out of the play. As you see, that works. They're able to get this play, working enough that Mahomes is able to fire the ball down the field. That's what you want to have happen. So don't go into this game just expecting pressure throughout, right? I think that, in fact, I would say that the Eagles had a better, on paper, matchup last time, and honestly, that didn't even work out too well in the Eagles' favor. Last season, when the Chiefs played the 49ers, it was a legitimate advantage for the 49ers. The Chiefs were able to just overcome it. I'm not even sure if we're going to get that this time, unless it comes from the inside. And the good news for the Philadelphia Eagles is they have one of the superstars in this league, Jalen Carter, one of the best interior pass rushers going right now. In fact, we have two of the best interior pass rushers playing in this game with Carter and Chris Jones. Carter's going up. This was a huge play. In fact, I don't know if the Eagles are playing in the Super Bowl if Jalen Carter doesn't make this play. The Rams have a 3rd down and 2 at the 12-yard line. They're down 6 points, and it's Matthew Stafford, who's made a career off of being able to make these plays, right? You think, is this going to happen? Are the Rams going to pull off this crazy comeback? But Jalen Carter wins this rep, gets the sack, now forces a 4th down and 11. That's too tough for the Rams to convert, and they do not. Jalen Carter can make things happen, and if they're going to get pressure consistently, I think it's going to have to come through him to some degree. I was actually curious in what the Chiefs did the last time that they played Jalen Carter. So they played him last season in Carter's rookie year because Carter wasn't there for the Super Bowl, but they did play him. And I was like, okay, well, let's check this out because I think Carter's a bit of a better player now than he was then, but he was still really good then. And the Chiefs' offensive line is comprised of a lot of the same guys. 4 out of the 5 guys are the same. Well, first, one thing is that the interior was just better because Thuney was at guards. So here's a one-on-one matchup, Thuney and Carter. First, you do see that Thuney is able to win this rep. So, I would say that's a win. He definitely is able to prevent Carter from generating pressure. Here is the other aspect, and this isn't just Carter, but it's the Eagles' defensive line in general. Watch how Carter on this play is able to get out, and he tackles Patrick Mahomes on a 3rd down and 9. Mahomes was not able to scramble for that 1st down. That's a part of it as well, right? Can you make sure that you keep him in the pocket? I do think this Eagles really athletic pass rush group can make these plays on Mahomes as he tries to get outside the pocket. Again, it's Mahomes. He'll make plays happen at times, but they might be able to limit those plays. But one of the things they just did was right here, you see just getting a lot of bodies on Jalen Carter, right? Have 2 guys on him. Pretty easy stuff there. No worries. You're able to make this play work. Everyone else has to make their blocks, and that makes things difficult, right? You now have to trust your right guard to be able to make their block one consistently if you're helping out the left guard play after play. However, that's good news for the Chiefs because you see this is a one-on-one matchup. It's Jalen Carter going up one-on-one against Trey Smith of the Kansas City Chiefs. The thing about the Chiefs is they have 3 really good interior offensive linemen, and even when one has been kicked out, if you're going to have to, have the center help out the left guard every play, you kind of trust Trey Smith even if he's going up against Carter. At least in this game, watch what happens. Smith is able to win this rep against Carter. Usually what happens is when you get an elite offensive lineman and an elite defensive lineman, the elite offensive lineman wins, and that is the situation. So the Eagles might not love their odds in that situation, and they might have to be a little creative, actually, in how they get pressure. Let's do some X's and O's right here. So, red and green because it's the Chiefs who wear red and the Eagles who wear green. So, 5 offensive linemen. Really, there's 2 options with Carter, who plays basically every snap. Do you want him on the left side or the right side? Well, you want him on the left side, right? Obviously, because they have the backup guard in there on the left side. So, if you do that, then you can get those, when you do get one-on-one matchups, then you can hopefully win those one-on-one matchups. But then what happens when the Chiefs do this, which is they have their center go over and he blocks Jalen Carter one-on-one, or not one-on-one, 2-on-1. You have 2 guys on Carter. Well, this opens up the door for your other pass rushers. But like I said, you now have 3 all-right offensive linemen there. I think Jawan Taylor might be a bit of a disadvantage at right tackle, but you can use a halfback to help out there if you need to. So as a whole, you can kind of be okay there, assuming Thuney's last week wasn't a fluke, and he actually is getting the hang of playing left tackle. However, doing this could still be a big advantage for the Philadelphia Eagles, because if Carter's over there, they're going to want to move the center to block Carter to make sure they're not having their backup guard, Mike Caliendo, at left guard, have to deal with him one-on-one, which can now make it easier to scheme up pressure. For example, they could do something like that, have an edge rusher run over, go in between the right guard and the center, and the chances are you could have you could have him get through unblocked. Now, if you do that, you have to be careful of a Mahomes scramble. Carter would have to essentially do that, run out and make sure that he is containing Patrick Mahomes. You don't want Mahomes to get outside the pocket. That's where things get tricky. But that is an option. Or you can send pressure elsewhere, right? Have a linebacker run through. Maybe he goes in between the center and the guard. Maybe the center picks it up and he blocks the linebacker. But when you do that, now you get that one-on-one matchup with Carter against Caliendo, which you assume Carter will be able to win and get to the quarterback. The Eagles don't love the pressure, but I think that you could have some opportunities to send a pressure in this game. I'm interested in seeing if they do. And in fact, you don't even have to send a pressure through the A-gap right here. You could do something like that instead. Try to get it in between the guard and the tackle. There's nobody else there other than a halfback who, again, maybe he's off trying to help out Jawan Taylor, and now you're in trouble. Of course, the other option is this. You just put Carter on the right side, and then what do you do if you're the Kansas City Chiefs? Obviously, you're going to have your, where the guards and tackles are going to block, but where do you put your center? Do you put your center towards Carter and try to double team him because he's Jalen Carter? The issue with that is you're trusting your backup guard to be able to, he's a starter now. I shouldn't call him a backup. He won the starting job. He's one of the 5. But, he's essentially a backup quality player. He now has to play one-on-ones against a really good Eagles front that has more than just Jalen Carter. Or do you have your center decide to block to the left, leaving Carter one-on-one, and as good as Trey Smith is, one-on-one against Jalen Carter for an entire game is a lot to ask of a player. He can do it, it's just a lot to ask of a player. I think it could be interesting. I might end up making some videos down the line of an individual matchup if there's anything you'd like to see me do a deep dive in, but as of now, for the broad strokes here, for my final predictions page thing that I do, I am going to give a slight edge to the Chiefs' offensive line, actually, which I know sounds crazy, but I really do think in this situation that they should be okay. There's going to be some pressure. I'm not saying that, there's no way that they're going to get any pressure whatsoever, but I'm also factoring in to account Mahomes' ability to scramble and get outside the pocket and evade the pressure in ways. You need more than just the average amount of pressure against a guy like Mahomes, and will the Eagles be able to get it? probably more than the average amount, but I still would lean toward the Chiefs. I don't think this will kill the game for the Chiefs, the pass rush. I really don't. Granted, it could be some real issues. And like I said about the Rams game, could you get it on the key plays, right? I think about another Rams game when the Rams won the Super Bowl. They had Aaron Donald, who was going against a backup guard, a backup guard quality player against the Bengals. He was able to get a quick win of his rep against a different player because they were helping out the backup guard, and Burrow wasn't able to make a play on a 4th down and 1. Like, there's things like that. But yeah, that's just how I see it. What do you think? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Always love hearing from you. And of course, as always, thanks for watching.